ever coming back?
I don't know, honey. Maybe someday when he's ready. But don't you worry, Mommy always comes back.
I think sometimes she doesn't tell the truth. Come on, we're gonna be late for the show.
I want to come home again.
No, Johnny, not again. You're a carousel of broken dreams.
See? You meet a guy's wife, now he's got a whole new reason to make good. Ladies and gentlemen, a physicist named Albert Einstein at the University of Berlin tells us that our universe may not be the only one.
I missed you so much.
But in this world of shadows, what seems familiar may be dangerous. What you don't know can hurt you.
Get back!
You would never lie to me, would you?
Hello everybody, I'm Zenith, and welcome to A Year in Gaming, where I talk about some of the recent games I've completed, or games that I've wanted to talk about for a fairly long time. Today I wanted to start off with the independent game Contrast, created by Compulsion games. Now, Contrast first came out on November 15th, 2013 for Windows, PlayStation 3, and Xbox 360. However, I recently got into the game because it came out for free on PlayStation 4 for PlayStation Plus members. Contrast is a game that is very different yet very familiar. It reminds me a lot of an inverse Limbo, if that makes sense. Limbo has everything shrouded in shadows and mists, and you platform as the character in that environment. Contrast is similar to that concept, however, it takes place in a real-world setting. Contrast, unlike Limbo, takes place in a shadow dimension, where instead of everything being shrouded in shadows, the objects, the environment, they're all presented as real-world items. However, the people are shadows. It's almost like a nexus dimension. You can hear the people in the real world, you can see their shadows, you can see their outline, but you cannot interact with them except for a young girl named Dee Dee, who is your friend. You appear as her imaginary friend in the real world, and I think that's an interesting concept. With that concept, what did I think of Contrast? Well, let's take a closer look and see what worked and what didn't work about the game. The first major thing that works about Contrast is the atmosphere. The game gets the film noir time period perfectly. Everything about the look and feel of the game just screams 1940s. The nightclubs, the bars, just the music, everything comes together to a perfect package, and I think this is one of the major strengths of the game. Atmosphere is one of the major things of any video game, and Contrast gets that right off the bat. The main character of Contrast is a young girl named Dee Dee, and you have to help her with environmental puzzles in order to bring her family back together. She has a really broken family, and the story touches upon some pretty deep issues, such as a father who only wants to make things right with his family, but he's stuck with the mafia connections. You have a mother who neglects her daughter and pushes away her husband, but really wants everything to work. She's a nightclub singer, and she doesn't have a lot of time to do anything herself. Once you get to know these characters, you really grow attached to them, and while there aren't many characters in this game, and you don't actually get to see them, because like I said, they're portrayed as shadows, you really grow to like them as characters. Another big strength of this game is the puzzles. The puzzles start off small, but build to something that is really incredible to behold. Some of these contraptions and things that you have to platform past are very interesting and very different. You don't see devices like these. They're very steampunk, very scientific in nature, and the sheer size of the objects and the sheer levels of platforming is incredible to behold. They start off pretty small and pretty easy to figure out, but as the game goes on and as you figure out the mechanics of the game, they get incredibly big and very well designed. There's this one part where you actually have to act as a puppet in a play, and it's one of the most interesting game mechanics I've ever seen. I have never seen a game utilize something like this, and you really have to play this to see how well this is handled. However, with all of that said, there are some major faults to this game. First of all, while I do love the puzzles, the game is incredibly short and not well paced. The game only runs around 4 hours long, and that is not enough for an independent game to stand out. There are plenty of games that run around 20 hours or less as independent games, and unfortunately, Contrast does not have the staying power it needs. The puzzles are very interesting, but they don't last for nearly enough time. I figured out the solutions pretty easily, except for a couple times where I got really frustrated and stuck, and it wasn't because I didn't know what I was doing. I knew exactly what I needed to do to solve the puzzle, but the second major problem of the game reared its head. This game is unfortunately very buggy. There are several times where I just try to put down a box, and my character model would go all crazy and glitchy, and I just wouldn't be able to do anything for the next 5 minutes. This game has some serious bugs underneath it, whether it's not being able to angle a box correctly or angle a laser correctly. It isn't as polished as it needs to be as an independent game. I want to really highly recommend this game for the story and the atmosphere alone, but I can't. While the story and the puzzles and the atmosphere are all incredible, the glitches and just the short length of the game really hold it back from being great. I give this game a 7 out of 10. It is far from perfect, but the elements that work really well. In the end, Contrast, it's not perfect, but it's worth a look. I'm Zenith Rule, and I'll see you guys next time.
You hold me tender as my pride, but nothing's better. Baby, I have cried. One day you'll wake up in a house on fire. I'm by your side. You hear that siren coming, baby, that's our coming, baby, that's alright.
Thank you for watching the Media Meltdown. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more awesome videos. And if you like what you see, show your support on the Patreon page at patreon.com/Media Meltdown. See you all next time on the Media Meltdown.